Hey everyone, it is Wednesday and I'm happy to have you here with me. Thank you for joining. It is Wednesday Work Wisdom and let's chit chat today about fear. Specifically, let's talk a little bit about if you have a fear of investing in yourself. Maybe you've never done it before. Maybe this is new for you. Maybe this is something that you're afraid, actually really fearful and afraid to do. So let's talk about how to do that and avoiding a career setback post pandemic. So if you've been watching each week, I have been talking about and acknowledging this pandemic is unlike anything else we've ever dealt with before, right? So we know that. But acknowledging that and moving forward, it doesn't mean that we should back down from this challenge and that we shouldn't make an investment ourselves and that we shouldn't acknowledge and take care of what we need to take care of. So, as a job seeker, you must know that this not only plays a role in your future, but it will also affect your trajectory. So, which means that what you do now will also affect what happens in the future. So that's really, really important. So this could affect your salary. This could affect what kind of position you look for or find in the future, and all of that. It's really, really important. So when I always tell people I want them to think about the rest of your life. What do you want the rest of your life to look like? Your salary will affect your retirement. And I know it's really, really hard now to think about all of that far ahead, but it's really, really important to try and do that. Because if you're not getting to that and you're not getting to an outcome, and you're looking for a job and you're sending things out. Maybe you're using job boards and you're applying and applying. You're not getting anywhere. No traction. Maybe not even an interview. No, nothing. What is it that you're expecting to get if what you're doing isn't working? Anything less won't deliver an outcome. And that is what you need. It is to get to that next step, which is actually getting the job. So receiving the outcome is what will get you to the next role and beyond. And when you struggle and when you stay stuck, then you're not getting to that outcome. And it will affect that career trajectory. Plus, the other thing I want you to think about is if you're unsatisfied with your salary, and then it's really, really important that you also seek a salary increase. And I know that most people think, oh, I should just be, happy that I'm getting paid or that I have a job and then I should be just satisfied. That is scarcity thinking. And you should not just be satisfied with whatever. Because the longer you're satisfied with whatever, it almost becomes lazy type of thinking. Because then we won't challenge ourselves later. And we won't challenge ourselves to make that change. So we'll just get complacent. Think about complacency. Think about, you know yourself best. Think about how complacent you will get, and then you won't want to change your job later. So if you're just going to say, "Oh, I'm just satisfied with whatever now. It's okay. It's fine. The economy's bad." Not necessarily true. There's a ton of remote jobs that are open, and there's a ton more that are probably be opening. But you want to think about not being complacent with yourself, with your career, or with your salary. Because the longer you are complacent, the more things will not change. And that is the most important thing right there. Because if you don't make a change, don't expect anything else to change either. So it's important to not let the fear get ahead of us, because then we will no longer be making judicious decisions about our job search or anything else, actually. Because then we're going to let that fear swallow us whole, and that fear is just, it's going to suck you alive. It's not good. And I understand scarcity, but if we let that come to such a point where we can't think straight or we can't make a good decision and we just make one based on something that's not even a complete and true circumstance, then we're going to be in trouble, because then what's going to happen later? The longer we let a problem go on, the harder it becomes to solve, the harder it becomes to fix. Think about a very different example, maybe not the best analogy, but think about, you have a, let's put it this way. Okay, think about you have a, something wrong with your tooth, right? Okay, so you need a filling. You need filling with your tooth. You decide, no, I'm not going to get that done. I'm not going to do that now. And if you bother not to do that, and then eventually, later on, you're going to need a root canal because you didn't bother doing it. Whoops. Do you see how that got out of hand? That's exactly what you want to avoid. Because the longer you wait on things, the worse it tends to get. That's exactly how this will become. Because the longer you wait to ask for a salary increase, the harder it will be to ask. And the harder it will be, you feel on your end, to justify asking for one. And the more you're going to want to ask for as well. Think about that too. How far underpaid are you? So that's another point to think about. So everything that we do or don't do because we let complacency set in and we let fear set in makes a big difference later. And now this crisis is unique because it's highlighting specific challenges that have already existed. And I know I've been saying that, but it also means that you want to begin searching for a role now in order to avoid getting lost in the shuffle. Think about everyone who went on unemployment all at one time, right? Everyone's going to come off of unemployment probably all at one time too. So that means everyone's going to be looking for a job all at one time. And then it's going to get extremely competitive. So everyone's going to wait until all at one time. No. The best thing to do now is to start setting yourself apart instead of waiting, because again, that's complacency. The longer we let that set in, the harder it's going to become. And you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. A job process, a job search process, the whole point of that already takes you outside of your comfort zone, taking you outside of your fear naturally, because you have to talk about yourself. You have to talk about the things that you've done. So you're already going to have to come outside of your comfort zone. But this is also something that already highlights scarcity, because we may harbor some deep thoughts that we, or maybe our qualifications, something in our background, maybe where we went to school, maybe we didn't get to go to school, are not enough. So the best thing that you can do at this point is to try and come away from that, because if something isn't working for you, then you have to do something that does work. And if something you're doing isn't working, the only thing you can do is make a change. And that's on you to make that change. So you will best be supported by a community of other professionals who are also already searching for their next role, not giving into that fear, facing scarcity head on. And I've said it before, but the challenge, it isn't the challenge that's before us. It's how we react to it and what we do with it. So my clients have been successful not only with professional support and guidance, but with having a community of other professionals who are seeking their next role, not giving into the fear, and are rising up to the challenge. And this is your time, and this is the perfect time for you to call and rise up to this. This crisis isn't really changing how to handle the situation. It means that you need to step up and solidify your mindset even more, not shrink and give in to fear. You have to think about the people who are around you, who are depending on you. Is your family depending on you? Is your children depending on you? Are you depending on you to create a solid future? If you play it safe, the harder it's going to be. Think again about that complacency. And do you know how you're going to reach your outcome? Because if you're not getting it, then how are you going to get it? Are you struggling with reaching your next role or a salary increase or even both? Are you sending out resumes and not having any traction? Are you even looking for remote work? Have you tried? If you're not getting job interviews and they're not turning those into offers and or getting a salary increase, then reach out, let's talk. Because if you don't have a system that's providing you this outcome, then you need to reach out and book a call. And I will leave the link in the comments, but we'll talk for about 45 minutes. And this will get you so much clarity around what is going wrong and what needs to happen in order for you to get to this level. And if I can help you, I'll let you know. And if I can't, I'll tell you that too. But you can count on one thing. In that time, you will get the proper diagnosis of what's happening. And regardless, you'll have the next steps for you to take. And for job seekers that are struggling and have been struggling nonstop, this is half the battle, and you will feel so much better having done this. So think about the things that you're doing or need to do in order to battle complacency and battle your fear, in order to overcome this and to get to your next steps. And I'm here to answer questions, and I'm happy to chat with you. And again, thanks for joining today. I'm happy to always have you with me and look forward to seeing you next week. And please be sure to be taking care of yourselves, your family, your loved ones, and staying safe and healthy. Without that, we can't do anything. So I hope to hear from you all soon. Have a great week.